And as a teenager and a college student, she journaled incessantly. And in 2010, she joined the real world and got a post-BA. She was she said she was another 20-something post-BA. Sorry, I messed that up. Anywho, she was the current facilitator of In the Words of Women. Woo! Woo! Please welcome to the mic, Alex Hohmann.
Ow! Woo! 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 Woo!
Hola, tía Chucha.
Woo! Woo! Woo!
How did this happen already? Okay. Leave myself organized. You guys having a good night?
Woo!
Yeah!
Woo!
That was really loud. Yeah. So I've been to a lot of open mics in different places, thanks to Karine a lot for suggesting some. And I've noticed that when people are the featured poet, they like to pay tribute to other poets by reading from other people's books or reading other pieces that they really like. And what actually brought me to Tia Chucha's in the first place was Miss Sandra Cisneros.
Oh.
And I came and saw her when she was here, and she did like a book signing, and she talked to people, and I got a picture with her, and I was all starstruck. And I've always loved her poetry, and I love The House on Mango Street. This is from her collection, Loose Women, pure poetry. And I always loved this poem, and I thought it would be a great way to open up the night and also pay tribute to other female poets. This is called I Let Him Take Me. I let him take me over the threshold and over the knee. I served and followed, harbored up my things and pilgrimed with him. They snickered at my choice when he took over, and I vigiled that solitude, my life. I labored love, fear-stitched and fed him, bedded and wiped him. He never disappointed, hurt, abandoned. Husband, love, my life, poem. All right. So I have been writing since forever, but then I didn't really believe in myself for a long time, and then I came here, and I was introduced to Genuine Poetess. And she really inspired me and helped me believe in myself again, and so it's been a couple more years since I've been developing my style. When I first came to In the Words of Women, I was not like this. I was very shy. I didn't believe in myself. And we had like our final session, and Genuine said it really encouraged us to go up to the microphone. And she said, yeah, go up there and do it. And so I just had this thing in my head that I had to write some big long poem about like my journey and how I had been doing. And this is what came of that. And now that I've developed my own style, I know that I like to write things very short and succinct. So this is the longest thing I'm going to bore you with tonight. But this is kind of my journey up until that point, until like I believed in myself as a writer. So this is called Chronicle. Look at the girl standing before you. Just another post-BA 20-something. Normal on the outside, pure chaos on the inside. All anger and attitude, prone to emotional outbursts and hysterical mood swings, no notice guaranteed. Now featuring the permanent setting, quarter-life crisis. Here she is in all of her neurotic glory, suppressing a scream at any given moment. She remembers more than just a nervous collapse. She remembers the anxious tension, the aching emptiness in the pit of her stomach. Though surrounded by others, she was terribly lonely. That dreaded D word loomed over her like the proverbial black cloud. She internalized more and more until she convinced herself she didn't have a heart, that she wasn't capable of emotions. After all, androids don't shed tears. Let's face it, the girl was drowning in a sea of bureaucracy and bullshit. Fear of the unknown, fear of stasis, fear of nothing and the continuing nothing. She craved escape from the mundane and longed for liberation from stifled creativity. She thirsted for inspiration, but had no idea how to how to achieve it. Yet there was a pinhole shaft of light. Even amongst the muck and the mire, the seed of a fledgling relationship began to germinate. He tended to her carefully, cautious and patient, and gave her plenty of room to grow. And the hardened shell began to crack and flake away, and the anxiety lessened in intensity. And the ice around that vital organ began to thaw. New Year's Eve, a time for new beginnings. That faded night, something stirs within her. There is a new rhythm in her breast, pangs of change. She awakens. The power of the written word was never lost on her. But at this point, the connection between her heart and her pen had never felt more essential, more nourishing. She savored the feel of a new journal, the flow of ink on paper, the developing callus on her ring finger. For her, writing was pure emotion on the page. For her, writing was public nudity, exposing a naked soul. Writing is what saved her. In the supportive arms of her man and the warm bosom of her tia, she explored the internal and the external and investigated the private and public of her whole self. Searching to find the woman within, the woman who knows her strengths and her weaknesses, who knows what she wants and isn't afraid to speak her mind, the woman who has control of her sexual identity and her sexuality. This she knew well. It took another person's appreciation before she learned to love herself. Look at the woman presented before you. She expresses herself in words, not emotional eruptions. Writing is not a weapon, but an assertion. She dares to add a writer to her name. Some days she confronts the mirror, that pond of truth, and still has the urge to cry. But she is finally beginning to accept and like what she sees. The new self emerges.
Woo! Woo!